Hey, my name is Felix, and welcome to The Sims 4, where we are going to be replacing Pepper's Pub with a contemporary style cafe. I'll also be joined by my good friend Scott, who went to school for architecture and currently works at an architecture firm. He'll join me on this build and use his knowledge to help us design a building in The Sims. So, let's get started. I feel like there was a faster way to delete all this, but I don't actually know what it is, so...
Yeah. Well, so
we're just going manual.
I guess before you get started with looking at the footprint, a really well-known thing in architecture is that direct sunlight is really bad.
So people would be sitting, or
just putting windows on the side of a building where direct sunlight is a bad idea. And so north light and south light are really, really good. And so that's where a lot of architecture, you'll have a lot of windows on that facing of on that facade of the building.
Gotcha.
And so I don't know if you can really figure out where the sun is or if that really matters.
Wait, if I click this button, no. Wait, look at the shadow. Look, it's right now, look, it's west.
Yeah.
It's west going east.
Okay.
But now it's in the evening, it's now going.
Okay, so basically
I think it's literally the sides.
Yeah, so that's actually perfect because I don't know what kind of building things they have in Sims, but basically on the street side connected to the bridge, you would want something to cover your windows, like a louver system or something.
What is that?
But a louver system. So louvers are essentially an assembly of rails that it's kind of like blinds.
Oh,
yeah.
And then on the side, I've seen those on the side of it. They're giant squares. Okay, so they cover windows, so it diffuses it essentially.
Traditionally, in architecture nowadays, we use giant panel systems to create the louvers. I don't know what they got in Sims, but on that side of the street where the bridge is, that's where you would want some sort of system to keep shade.
Yeah.
For the interior of the building. However, on the street side, facing the other buildings, you could have as many windows as you want, giant glass wall if you really want to. Yeah. I'm just sitting here thinking the whole sunlight thing. It's a very real thing, but if you look at all the buildings in The Sims, none of the buildings are going to be paying attention to that. It's just
bro, I mean,
all those people are getting blinded in the morning, and it's just
they wake up in the sunlight. They can't sleep, and then look at this dude.
What's with the hole?
This dude's got a hole that goes into the ground. He has to walk downstairs, and then he's got a big window that literally sees nothing.
Hey, it's a nice staircase you get to see every day.
You gotta walk up it.
You want people to before they even get to the building, standing far away, you want to be able to tell where the entrance is. So it's gotta I
want to line this
attract people. It's oh, that must be where I enter. So people just kind of naturally navigate themselves there. So something cool that you can probably do, and this is you're not there yet, but when you get to the second floor, right now everything's symmetrical, and I'm gonna push you to do something asymmetrical. Yeah, honestly, black, white, and a natural wood color is a really good contemporary color scheme.
The classic.
I have my personal opinions about all that, but that's okay.
He's gonna go on.
Fight
all architecture people.
Everything nowadays is just so bland. There's no color and any new architecture. It's kind of sad. And I guess I should preface the reason I'm saying contemporary instead of modern is because modern is referring to early to mid 1900s architecture. Mm-hmm. And contemporary is the current style that we are in.
What we're using now.
Yeah. Oh God. I'm looking at there's a cow.
What?
There's a cow, your far right top.
What?
For the shrub options.
Oh.
There's a cow. Yeah.
Oh my God, front and center. So, cause We're gonna obviously have to leave enough room for bathrooms, and then kitchen, staff stuff.
So in architecture, that's all called the back of house stuff. And it's kind of a joke in architecture. At my firm, we started calling that the butt of the building, because like that's like essentially the butt of the building. And the reason we call it that is because it's like that's typically where there's no windows, and it's essentially like the ugliest part of the exterior of the building. And I'm not gonna lie, based on it would actually in the real world, that would probably be on that corner closest to the bridge. And I say that because low key, someone would probably just like, it's a college town, someone would paint a mural on that wall facing that bridge. Very bottom one.
This one.
Very last one. What is that? Oh,
it's the metal one.
What's with the balls? Like,
I don't. I mean, the black.
It would be nice without like those massive balls on there, but you know.
No, some people don't like massive balls. Like, yeah, I get it. Some people are not a fan. Yeah, who knew that architecture could be kind of sus? Regardless, right now we are mainly talking and discussing how we wanted the initial floor plan and the overall shape of our building, and so that we can get the outer shell exterior of our cafe built. A focal point he mentioned that you can see now is having some asymmetry in the building, and in order to do that, we have an outdoor balcony that will serve as a seating area later.
I really doubt you could do this in The Sims, but it'd be super cool if you could add a mural.
I can make it.
It's gonna be such a funny time lapse.
Oh, this is a college town, all right.
Yeah. Lucky if you stack a bunch of those on top of each other. Not the dog on top of each other, but like a bunch of other things like on top of each other. It could look like a real mural.
And then guess what? Guess what the dog is doing? It take a big poo-poo. And then it did some ice cream. Oh my god. Dude, this is a college town. Oh, this is a college town if I've ever seen one, dude.
Well, so here's the thing. The second you add like guardrails,
yep,
it's gonna look way more detailed, you know?
Oh, we can add some right now. Oh wait, this thing is called Jumbo Weave. Hold up. Oh god, it's too big. It's too big. It goes over.
I honestly, that could be good.
Okay, we'll try.
That would be at the same height as the guardrails.
Oh, so do we? What? Unfortunately, is there a not so medium waffle weave? It's so much smaller. No, what? How is that medium? Wait, if I just like, okay, it's too big. It's too big. It's literally too big. So we've been really exploring all sorts of different kind of materials to make the outside of the building, and started messing around with brick. So it's in a way turning more industrial, if anything. Also, you notice a lot that we keep coming back and having to redo ideas because we end up discovering better methods of trying to fulfill the idea we wanted to have. So for example, our louver system, we really had no idea at first how to build it. So, you know, we just kind of placeholder things down as a rough draft until we honestly figure out some sort of material in The Sims that works really well. And I think that's just kind of the case that we've been experiencing. Is I personally haven't played Sims in quite a long time, and Scott has never played The Sims before, so it's a lot of trial and error, and definitely a lot of exploration to figure out the things that work and the things that don't. But right now we are starting to fill out a bit of the outdoor seating, getting into decorations, outdoor tables. We've got lights, and oh man, these plants look so good hanging from our louver system here. I love these lights, and it's definitely gotten into a more industrial look with how the light bulbs are kind of open, but I think it works well and it fits for this cafe theme we've got going on. Also, this Miro is totally scuffed, but we love it anyways.
So that's gonna need to face the road, realistically, because essentially the truck's gonna have to drive, and they can't like turn in that space, so they're gonna have to be able to drive in and pick it up. And
you know, you think about it, that's such an architectural thing no one will think about. It's like, hey, by the way, remember, the garbage truck has to come in and pick up the garbage can. Don't forget that. Like, what? I would never think about that. And it actually makes sense because like they even have a road here I mean, how did they get through here? This is like a pedestrian crossing. Oh, no, I guess it's a road. Good luck, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's close enough.
If this was if I can extend it maybe one more. No, I can't. Why are you so long? Just be one. Can I cut it in half? That's so awkward.
It's fine. No one's gonna be looking back there anyway.
Can I just put it there?
No. I veto that. You want it out of sight, and that's the perfect spot.
Out of sight, out of mind. Which means,
like I said, the butt of the building. That's what we're looking at right now, right there.
I thought this is the door of Dinge. I thought it was the door of Cringe. I was like, what's going on in that door?
You know, like a wet floor sign, how it's like angled like that? You could have like I don't know if they have this in Sims, but like there's like a big menu that like folds and stands like that in that corner. People could like look at that to order their stuff.
What the freak
Why is it tiny?
What the freak is this? It's oh my god. We're serving mice, dude. We got the mouse coming in and he's trying to order some food. Why is it so tiny? Who the freak? Yeah, I still don't get that. I've noticed a lot of objects and items in The Sims just have some really weird scaling sometimes. I get that this menu was actually meant to be placed on a table, and that's why it's so small, but there are other things in the game where they're just either really, really big or just way too small, and things get weird. But right at this point, we've more or less completed the entire exterior of the build. So we're about to start really focusing on the interior, except for this whole HVAC part. And honestly, none of us are HVAC engineers or know how HVAC systems work. So this one was just kind of filling in the puzzle pieces and trying to make it look right. And hopefully it makes sense. I don't know if any HVAC experts who could tell how that works. Now that the overall floor plan and the exterior of the building itself and the kind of look that we wanted is done, I'm going to be mainly working on the interior and rest of the detailing honestly by myself, but I hope you enjoyed the small tidbits of architectural knowledge from Scott, and we honestly want to keep on doing more of this and building more buildings in The Sims. So we're definitely going to continue looking at other buildings, other styles, and learning just more how to build in The Sims, because this has been really fun. And it is kind of crazy how we're sitting here playing The Sims, a video game, but we get to talk about and actually discuss some real architectural skills and ideas that we can implement into game. That's really cool. And I think it's really been a different experience. I've built a lot in all sorts of different games, but without actually having some of the knowledge behind it, never really making parts of the building have actual purpose. And sometimes you'll put something like the louver system and you'll make it because you've seen reference pictures, and I will look at a whole bunch of reference pictures to get an idea of what I want to make, but you really only are replicating it without really understanding what I'm building it for. So it was really cool to actually sit down and discuss and talk about why some buildings have the certain features that they do and the kind of stylistic choices that they make, which is going to be the complete opposite of what we're about to do, because none of us are interior designers. I'm just a gamer in general. So this is the point where we just start building to make things look good. For example, as we start getting into the interior, my initial thought going in, there's probably some real good reasonings behind why certain combinations work and why you should make certain things the way they are. All I knew was I wanted a somewhat bright wooden flooring because I always think wooden floorings look really nice. And then to kind of contrast it, I think I've just seen a lot of cafes, they'll use a darker color, which kind of absorbs a lot of the light and just makes it feel a lot more warm and cozy. And then it really highlights when you have a lighter wood and wood walls, which is like such a common thing in a lot of these more contemporary style cafes. And that is a big reason I decided to pick this very nice navy bluish color. But thinking of the way I wanted the inside of the cafe to generally look, definitely had thoughts of coffee shops and that coffee shop kind of vibe to it. But there's also a thought of trying to make sure the building felt that it was meant for younger people, as this building is on a college campus. So I wanted to try and keep that in mind, that this would be a building that a lot of college students would be probably hanging out in a lot, studying. And in general, the type of demographic that a cafe like this would have. Though while making it, I've kind of realized with just the stuff I had, there's not too many coffee shop, just general items, it feels, in the game. Like, fortunately, it didn't really have coffee cups or mugs or anything, which is really weird that there just isn't some general clutter like that in the game, like some basic paper coffee cups or anything that I could just throw around. So, a bit unfortunate. There's definitely a lot of like restaurant, more thematic things. Unless I'm just not looking in the right place, and I wouldn't be surprised if I'm not, because there are just so many items in The Sims now. And sometimes you just have to keep on scrolling and scrolling until you just find something, and you're like, oh, I could place that down somewhere. I could find something for that, or I needed that. And it's just like that constant scrolling through menus until you find something close enough to what you're thinking. Oh, and I really like this kind of wall greenery I had just made there. It is a little weird though, because I had to downsize the green vine things on them. They have this massive shadow on them. And that occasionally happens where even though you downsize them, it still like retains its base, I guess, hitbox or something. So we spent a lot of time, especially on the first floor, as that is primarily where a majority of the cafe things are, and it's just the main dining area and kitchen ordering area. But started working now on the second floor, and for this one, I wanted it to be kind of like a massive commons area where you would have students able to just kind of relax and hang out, which makes me think maybe because I was just never too into it, or it's probably better if you are like living on campus or something, and you obviously need a space to get away from probably your dorm and just find an area to study. But I could just never really go out into public and to just sit down and study. I feel like I'd rather have some more private. And I remember when I was in university, they had this huge common area that they built above the dining. But the most annoying part about it, they just kept playing the same radio station like all the time. And it would be okay if it was just like a station, right? And someone was controlling it and the music changed. But for some reason, it was just like this set playlist. And I guess it was to make sure the music was safe. But oh my gosh, I would come in at the same time like all the time because I'm coming like after a class and, you know, my schedule is set. It's just the same song playing over and over again. That's probably a major reason why I did not like going in there at some point. It was a really nice building. Like, it had some really huge windows and stuff. So being able to sit in there and just kind of absorb the sunlight before my next class was really nice. But yeah, listening to the same tracks just at the same hour every single time was a bit annoying. This is definitely one of my favorite parts of this build. Cafes always have this kind of huge signage where their branding is, at least a lot of cafes I've seen, and going with that in mind, I wanted something just massive on this wall, mostly to also just cover the wall, and I just started going a little bit crazy, just grabbing things and trying to make something out of it. And yeah, I think it has that weird modern vibe to it. Maybe it kind of looks like sound panels or something. I don't know. I was just kind of grabbing things, especially to try and create a border so I can actually separate the two levels. I'm happy with the way it came out. Also, I never really tested if these would work in game. I'm pretty sure they don't, but I wanted to try and make one of those trash cans that's inside of a countertop where it's hidden in a way, but for the sake of also playing the game, I also just added some real trash cans. But to finish up the rest of the upstairs lounge, just going to be adding some bar style tables so that you can look out the window and through the front of the building. I think they look really nice and just provides more areas for, I assume, students to be sitting down with computers or something and studying for whatever they've got. Alright, so this is the completed cafe, and I hope you've enjoyed watching me talk about and build it, and hopefully you've learned a thing or two about architecture from Scott, because I know I definitely did. And if you did enjoy this, I hope you consider dropping a like on this video. It will definitely help me out. Also, if you have any suggestions of what buildings you want to see next, what kind of styles, or even replacing buildings in the Sims world, because we do plan on going around and maybe checking out other buildings to either replace or renovate. So if you have any suggestions for what you would like to see, definitely drop a comment for us down below, because we would love to check it out. But anyways, that is going to be it for me. My name is Felix, and I hope to catch you again next time. Bye!